Howdy guys, Radio Magic here. I hope you are all having a fantastic morning, afternoon, day or evening, wherever you are and whatever you are up to. Today we are back with our mini-series on the channel with how viable is Control in the historic meta, and we're back with Esper Control. So if you know what all of these cards do and you want to go check out a deck list maybe, or just jump straight into the games, go down into the description below and you can find all of that out. But essentially what this mini-series aims to do is to take a few different variations of different control lists and throw different cards together, try out different things to test how viable different cards are in the meta, and we test these up against meta decks, so what's currently common at the moment, along with some sort of like janky lists that you come across while climbing the ladder. But mainly we'll be tackling what's relevant at the moment, so we're looking at goblins, Emry combo, Sultai or 4-color control, the mirror matchup, and then, like I said, just some jank bits as well. But yeah, this is Esper Control, and this is a variant we tried. We tried this previously on the channel, and it did okay. It did okay, I'll say that. That's how good it did. Not as good as Azorius, and I don't think as good as Grixis as well. And I even think Jeskai is better than Esper at the moment. But we're trying back with Esper again to see how this does. So we've made a few changes to the list. First of all, the Grafdigger's Cages, they're something that I feel like has to be in the main at the moment. And a suggestion we had with trying was Disdainful Strokes, Tail's End over Disdainful Strokes. So that's something we're trying as well. We kept in the Soul Shatters since this is something that Black offers us. So we'll give it a shot and see how this works. But these would typically be like Baffling Ends along with the Fatal Pushes, or probably just change the Soul Shatters for Cast Outs and the Fatal Pushes for Baffling Ends, so sort of like that. But we're really going to be testing whether these different types of removal spells and Four.Vs can give Esper an edge over Azorius or Jeskai. Mana basis is pretty bog standard, running some checks, some shocks, some Scrylands, no Scrylands, Irrigated Farmlands, sorry, and Fable Passages for Revolt for Fatal Push. In the sideboard, we've mixed up the sideboard quite a bit as well. We're running some extra removal in the form of Fatal Push and Eliminate. Grafdigger's Cage, just for the extra one when we need it. Rest in peace for any sort of graveyard shenanigans decks like Godfarer's Gift and other just bits. Aethergust, no need for explanation here. Tail's End, this is our extra copy of Disdainful Stroke, and I think it's relevant to have two Tail's Ends in here just to try them out, since in the matchups we want them, they are going to be really good. It was pointed out that Disdainful Stroke hits on a lot in the meta, a lot of stuff like Goblins, Muxus, Krenko, Khan in the Emry combo, a lot of the stuff in Sultai. But Tail's End hits on basically everything Disdainful Stroke does, but hits on also things like Emry and some other bits as well, which is quite relevant. You can get the Hydroid Krasis trigger as well, because the Hydroid Krasis body is not an issue. And if you can 2-for-1 yourself with a Hydroid Krasis, you're actually happy with that outcome. But Tail's End can stop that. It can stop Ugin triggers for what is relevant as well. So yeah, Tail's End has some utility above Disdainful Stroke, and that we're going to try out and see how it works. We're then running our vetoes for the mirror matchups. Narsets almost exclusively for Sultai and 4-color, and the mirror matchup as well. Extinction events for when we need additional board wipes, maybe against auras, because our Wrath of God isn't very good. So we're going to bring in some exile-based removal, also good against Uro at the same time. And then we're trying out Fort Distortion, because I hate this card so much. For people who have been watching any of the series so far, whenever we get Fort Distorted, it's just awful, because we're sitting behind our wall of counter magic and Fort Distortion destroys us. So whenever we get the opportunity to play a Fort Distortion, we are going to play a Fort Distortion and see how that gets on. But yeah, just so triggered by that card, and just Sultai and Control and 4-color Control as a whole. But that is Esper. So this is the second time, this is the first time we're revising Esper, second time we are playing it on the channel. So exciting stuff. I will shut up there. We'll jump into some games and see how we get on, and I'll catch you again at the end with the wrap-up. Yeah, this hand looks okay. We can go get our other island with Fable Passage and play over Absorb or Narset on turn 3. On the draw as well, on the play even. So hopefully this Absorb's going to be okay. Depends how aggressive our opponent is. Okay, Blooming Marsh. Okay, so opponent's got turn 1 Four.Vs. Don't know exactly what we're on. Okay, I don't know how relevant Cage is going to be in this matchup. If opponent's on Uro, then it will do something. Maybe they're on Sultai with a Blooming Marsh. Okay, not Sultai. Okay, like John sacrificed them. Sure thing. Okay, so we got Absorb up. Let's find out other white source for Wrath of God. Yeah, Grafdigger's Cage is going to be excellent in this matchup. If it sticks around. I don't know if our opponent runs main deck Bedevils. I know they're definitely in after game 2. Okay. As long as we have Grafdigger's Cage, that's fine. Basically, just don't want to drop the shields on this Absorb. So opponent's getting perfect information at the moment. I still think it's worth playing out the Irrigated Farmland. I think we'll shock in next turn, hold some information, but we're going to go to Teferi next turn where we can hold up Absorb. If your opponent has like a Devil instant speed, fair enough. It's not even clear though that they answer the Grafdigger's Cage above the Teferi. We'll see though. We get punished if our opponent top decks a Four.Vs. But our opponent's got nothing at the moment. Seems to be going quite slow. Okay, if our opponent has like a Bedevil or something here, they can go for it. At least the Teferi replaces itself though, and the Wrath of God will clear up these Cauldron Familiars. Another Absorb is nice. This is a matchup where we could have considered Cry of the Carnarium in the board for Cauldron Familiars, but we're going to rest quite hard in our Grafdigger's Cage. So if our opponent's plan is just to hit this down, it looks like they've flooded a little bit, but if their plan is to just attack Teferi down, I think we're okay. We're going to stop this so that our Wrath of God is better. Our opponent obviously doesn't know about the second Absorb, so they don't know that we have another one, so they might just be trying to run that out to get rid of the counterspell. Still think we're just holding on to this. I mean, Teferi's fallen to 2 next turn. We could just Wrath of God. Just get rid of these. Yeah, let's just do it. Only gets a little bit of value. Maybe our opponent was doing that just to check. I assume they knew that that was the case since they weren't sacking it beforehand. Okay, so against what our opponent's doing, so to my knowledge, they don't have an answer to Rest in Peace. So probably going to bring in the Rest in Peace, since Bedevil will only answer Cage. Fort Distortion doesn't seem great. What do we want to cut in this matchup? Like Tail's End doesn't seem at its best. Aethergust seems okay. Though our opponent's mainly black. Soul Shatter doesn't feel good in this matchup. Our opponent's got a load of little threats. We bring in like the push and like eliminates. I like going down on a Wrath of God for like extinction events instead, since our opponent has Midnight Reaper. And cut like, which one's better, Shark Typhoon or Teferi in this matchup, do you think? Maybe go down on one of these. I don't think Aethergust is great since our opponent's mainly black. And they have a little bit of red. And they're probably running Collected Company as well, I'd imagine, which is why they're running the green, but I guess Cage shuts that down. We could bring in Narset to like dig for our Rest in Peace and Cage. I think that's fine. And yeah, just cutting the Soul Shatters for our early game removal. The only consideration I think is do we want to make room for the Wrath of Gods and the Narsets, but I don't think so. Just need to find one card to cut, and maybe it's the Absorb on the draw. It's probably going to be a little bit slow, so we'll just cut that and run it like that. So this hand is obviously quite weak to early game stuff that our opponent's got if they come out really fast at the gate, so we're probably going to mulligan this away. I think Searchlight Canter is not something we particularly want in our opening hand, and Sensor's just not going to be enough. This hand looks much better. If we can avoid a turn 1 Four.Vs, we're okay. Probably put the Swamp on the bottom since we can go get White Source with this for our Absorb. We can do that turn 2. So So hoping our opponent doesn't have a Four.Vs. Not looking likely. Yeah. So they get the cage. So we get to Four.Vs back. Going to 16 though, not great. Okay. So in answer to our Planeswalker, Trail of Crumbs is going to be quite difficult for us to answer. Not running cast outs. We do want the Midnight Reaper. We're not going to be able to counter the Midnight Reaper. I think we just want to check Trail of Crumbs. It's going to stop our opponent from like gaining a foothold late game. So opponent gets to resolve the Midnight Reaper here. Going to try and find an answer for this Noxious Grasp before we play our Teferi. We'll do our best. And we can trade with the Shark Typhoon later on. With the Midnight Reaper. I don't really... What is this? This is green or white, so I can't take out the Shark. Just counter this to gain the life. Shark Typhoon is our answer to this Midnight Reaper. We want to gain the life anyway. And I didn't want to cycle Shark Typhoon this turn since I'd rather do it for 2. Okay, opponent's got the double Four.Vs, that's fine. Okay, so now we're stuck in a position where, yeah, we need to draw land. But double Teferi is sort of an answer to Noxious Grasp. The first one will come down and just tuck the Midnight Reaper. And then if they want to Noxious Grasp it. Okay, unfortunately Fatal Push, we need to revolt that to kill that Midnight Reaper. Land would have been excellent there since we could tuck the Midnight Reaper. They'd have been forced to kill with a Noxious Grasp and then we have the backup one. Okay, found land. So yeah, just gonna tuck this Midnight Reaper here. Opponent gets to draw an additional card. I tell you what, a better play could have been actually to tick up with the Teferi there. And then when they kill Teferi, they trigger Revolt for our Fatal Push so we can finish the Midnight Reaper that way. And we get a card out of the deal. Yeah, I think that was a mistake. We should have ticked up there. So yeah, Trail of Crumbs is going to do some work for our opponent. Just go Teferi. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have another Noxious Grasp in hand.
This isn't a fight. You can win.
Oh, they do.
How long do you want to wait for a refill? Hold that thought.
So yeah, we got punished on the Noxious Grasp, but our opponent only had one card in hand. I think it's fine to attempt that. That was an excellent draw. So we do this now, don't we? Take a little bit of damage. Yeah, Mayhem Devil quite good against us. It's an answer for like timely reinforcements, but I think that's one of the things that's happening at the moment, especially with Control, is that like there's so many different options of stuff to play. It's like what are you playing? What are you not playing? It's like we're opting not to play cast outs and timely reinforcements at the moment, but maybe it's just better to play them cards.
Just the trick for this.
I feel like we want the Absorb since we have the Wrath of God. Just need some life as well. Sitting on 6, it's not comfortable. Cauldron Familiar is pretty deadly here. Opponent gets to drain us a bit more. So yeah, I need to find a Rest in Peace. Oh, another Witch's Oven's not great. Opponent gets to do it again. So Rest in Peace or Grafdigger's Cage, I think. That's not going to work.
Own your prowess.
I guess we're going Narset, going digging again. We can't hold up Absorb. But I think we need to find an answer to this Cauldron Familiar. We're just like dead on our next turn.
There are so many mysteries to uncover.
We have 4 bits in the main deck for it.
Meditate
And yeah, gonna fail to find that here. We have quite a few bits in the main deck. It's we should be finding it. Mayhem Devil. So fall into 3. Opponent just smacks us here. Yeah. Puts us to 2. One of them puts us to 1. The other of them puts us to 0. We can we'll have to. I guess we can't absorb this. No, yeah. That's his game. So we had an opportunity for Narset to dig there. Want to make any changes? Maybe bring in the extra absorb now. I feel the Wraths just aren't very good. Our opponent gets so much like extra advantage from doing that. Probably just bring in the early game Aethergust there. Yeah, we've got quite a few effects. Just need to find them. So this hand doesn't have any of our hate pieces, but it does have some removal and interaction. So probably just going to keep this. A little bit of a shame we have to go to 16. So just take the Witch's Oven here. Our opponent has a sorcery speed answer to Teferi. But our opponent's essentially got 4 lands, and the Cauldron Familiar does nothing without the Witch's Oven. Probably just going to play Search Cancer out. Get that Scry going as soon as possible. We really want to hit lands. Hit some white mana. Set up for a potential absorb now. Yeah, probably just going to push this cat as well. Don't know how much damage this is going to deal to us over the course of the game. Mayhem Devil. And probably library that.
I have practiced against keep an open mind.
Probably just take an eliminate. Don't think we want to fall too low on life. Do we shock in here? If our opponent kills Narset, we can revolt, kill the devil. Depends how they sequence it. They might play their Fable Passage, yeah. They might use this to ping the Narset as well. Or they might just come straight for us. Just come straight for us. This might indicate they're going for Narset with the Mayhem Devil. Yeah, we'll finish it off with the push. Opponent just goes straight for us, then they're playing around, yeah, playing around Fatal Push. So we took 2 damage for nothing. Or they're just playing around Fatal Push in this way. Nice. Yeah, that makes sense.
Still have much to learn.
So really hoping for a land. I'll graveyard that. Absorb's okay as well. It shall do, but land, yeah, into Teferi, eliminate. It's quite nice. But yeah, sitting on 8, you can't feel too comfortable. It's just not really a threat about Trail of Crumbs. I guess they can get back Cat now, can't they? Yeah, probably should have just answered that. Just answer it now. Yeah, should have countered this, I think. So they get back Cat now. Opponent has one unknown card. But our opponent can get back cat once, but without an oven, they can't do the little combo. So we'll see. We are falling to potential 6 here, though.
Let's slow this down. You know what? I'm not done.
And yeah, cage is going to be nice if we survive to our next turn. If we survive to our next turn with a Teferi on board, I think we're okay. But yeah, sitting on 7, you can't feel too comfortable. The opponent's just going straight for us. Yeah, shame we didn't have the absorb up. Just going to graveyard that. So take the hit and we'll hold up absorb and search for Ascanter. Yeah, a single absorb here is going to buy us quite a bit of time. Yeah, stop this cage. Obviously going for cage. And now this cat's not as scary. Just pass turn again, play around Four.Vs. It's not really scary with cage down. We just need to find our... just need to keep our opponent off being able to answer the cage. But we also, if we find another one, then we're okay. Or rest in peace as well. Just going to tap our mana correctly, yep. Second cage, just play it out. So opponent have like a Maelstrom Pulse. So far we've seen Reclamation Sage. If they have a Four.Vs, just we hold it. This way we're able to Shark Typhoon for 2 and hold up Absorb. Okay, so opponent knows about Shark Typhoon, so they're just gonna activate Ascanter them. Let's get some extra value. Yeah, Teferi's nice. So still get to hold up Absorb here. Fair enough. We'll start to take over. This hand looks okay. Get to turn 1 cage. If we turn 1 cage, though, we won't be able to Four.Vs on turn 2. I think that's okay. Since if we go get Fable Passage, if we go get a Swamp, then we won't be able to absorb on turn 3. So we'll just go with cage on turn 1 and then plan to Four.Vs later on in the game. And hopefully the cage is relevant in this matchup. Okay, so Uro's going to be incoming. So I would imagine cage is going to be relevant. Okay, so the Emry combo list. Just play double cage. Gonna go for absorb on turn 3, and then I guess we can Four.Vs on turn 4. The problem with this hand, we don't have like a Narset or Teferi or something to gain us some extra value. So if opponent can combo, we're not going to be able to do much to stop them. Okay, they did not have the Emry. This is one of our main matchups as to why we are running. Yeah, that's fine. This is one of our main matchups as to why we're running Tail's End instead of Disdainful Stroke. So our opponent's going to get back this Khan either way. I guess we just take Tamiyo. They can get back Khan, and then we can take the Khan. And then it's a top deck war. And I think we top deck better. Maybe. And yeah, we will thin the deck here. Yep, need to top deck a Planeswalker or something now to draw us into something relevant before our opponent can find something. They get one extra draw with their Sphere. Looks like they didn't find anything. Don't think we need to push the Elves. If our opponent has an Emry, we're going to feel sad for not holding the Fable Passage. Yep, so didn't hold the Fable Passage, so I feel a little bit sad. I guess our opponent can't do much anyway with the Emry since we have Grafdigger's Cages down, but... it's okay. So not going to thin the list here. Opponent can't cast stuff out of their graveyard, so we'll wait if they answer the Grafdigger's Cage. Kinnan produces a lot of mana, but doesn't do much. Because we have Cage. You might be looking at just pushing one of these soon anyway. Okay, maybe not. And now, yeah, we just need to find some card advantage before our opponent finds some. Kinnan's fine. Love the animation. So I guess if we were in Azorius, this would be like a Baffling End. Absorb's okay. Sort of nullified our opponent's next relevant draw. Think about our opponent, they have a lot of cards that can just win them the game. Or like things like Khan and Tamiyo they need to find, but they also have a lot of cards that initiate with their combo, like Kinnan, Emry, like Chromatic Sphere, that just don't do anything. So unless we just draw lands for the next few turns or non-relevant draws, then I feel like we might be okay. Hopefully we don't have to use our... yeah, just let Uro go. It's just a redraw. Opponent didn't want to attack. Emry, so opponent's going to mill some more, but as long as Cage is down, we're okay. Are we just pushing the Kinnan here to save ourselves some life? Since we're going to be dead relatively soon. If we don't. That's definitely a relevant draw for our opponent. Gonna thin the deck now as well. We have an island left. Yeah, need to find an Narset or a Teferi. Shark Typhoon would be quite good as well. That will close the game pretty quick. Search for Scant is a good one. Search for Scant is excellent, providing we can dodge our opponent's next draw. That's not dodging our opponent's next draw. Found one of their combo pieces. but just answer the Emry. If our opponent top decks something relevant, they don't have one of their combo pieces. Gonna take a Teferi here just for some card advantage.
Isn't a fight. Hold that thought.
So yeah, one more draw. And even if our opponent has a... Oh! So our opponent gets 3-4 mana this turn, so they can Karn. Oh, yeah. So yeah, opponent found something relevant.
I battle for the forces of good. My purpose is greater than myself.
So our opponent's going to go get. Ratchet Bomb. Ratchet Bomb's a good one. And they have the second Mox Amber. Oh, opponent's going to... Pretty good here. They can take out a Graph Digger's Cage. So yeah, needed to phase one draw. And that was definitely not a phase. So opponents established quite the board presence. I guess let's search Canter first. Need to hit something good. These aren't particularly good. Opponent's likely to be able to just combo next turn. Then go get something out of their sideboard.
Skip to the good part.
Just like triple Teferi. Little bit worried about these Uros. We'll full control here. Ah, what the... Forgot to untap Search Canter. For some reason I clicked OK. Yeah, that's if we hadn't done it already, that was probably enough. Yeah, that's massive. Opponent can combo here anyway, so unless we found a counter spell.
Let me aid your research.
Opponent's last card must be something they can combo with. So they have the other piece, the statuary, in their sideboard that they can play, untap. I guess a lot of our opponent's lands don't untap Paradox Engine. Something we've got going for us. Our opponent has a lot of cards in graveyard. Yeah, it's unfortunate we didn't untap Search Canter. Still just killing Uro here, I think. Triggered Revolt because of the Ratchet Bomb. Yeah, I can't... Soul Shatter actually awful against Tamiyo. Could tuck Tamiyo, Soul Shatter the Karn. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we could, yeah, tuck Tamiyo, Soul Shatter, get the Karn. Play Teferi, tick up, and then we can still search Canter in our opponent's turn. So I guess we'll Teferi first.
Trust me, you'll thank me. Keep up the pace.
So can activate and then still Soul Shatter. So I guess we activate first. and Soul Shatter in the end step. And Khan's not doing much at the moment anyway. Tail's End. Or Narset. Can't Narset now. Depends if our opponent can draw back into Tamiyo. I think we're taking the Tail's End for the Tamiyo. If our opponent turns Paradox Engine, I think... Have a look at our opponent's last card. Yeah, and I think we're not going to... If our opponent decides to Khan the Paradox Engine to attack Teferi, then we have a Soul Shatter to take out the Paradox Engine. His last card is an Uro. Which is actually quite relevant as well, since our opponent... I guess they can double draw here. But we have the Tail's End. We're not in great shape. I definitely think that Searchers Cancer not activating last turn was massive, since we could have had a Tail's End. Yeah, just gonna have to let this go. We could always Tail's End the Aetherflux Reservoir trigger as well. So opponent could just Uro here to get Tamiyo.
Allow me to introduce you to a friend of mine.
So nice synergy here with Soul Shatter. And we have the Tail's End for the Tamiyo next turn. Need to find an answer to his Uro though, so nowhere near in the clear. Moxamba. Opponent's just going to cast another Uro. So, looking for a board wipe, I guess. Board wipe, Tail's End to get the Tamiyo. Four.Vs for Tamiyo is quite nice. So what can we do here? Like Tuck Uro, Four.Vs, Tamiyo, Tail's End, Khan if it goes for the negative. Sensor doesn't do much. If it goes for the positive, we have a backup Teferi. And our opponent's got 12 cards, so just a few more activations left. Could also... No, our opponent... That works out awfully, yeah. If our opponent goes to tick this up, they can still kill Teferi. Yeah, let's just go like that. I doubt Sensor's going to be relevant. We could have cycled there to maybe hit like a Narset. Okay, opponent top decks another Tamiyo. So unfortunately we have to go for this now. Opponent's very close to 50 life just naturally. And we've used our one Tail's End. I think that activation from Searchers Cancer earlier is coming back to bite us. Wait, can we censor this? I think we can censor this. This doesn't currently tap for a mana because Khan is colourless. Oh wait, they have Llanowar Elves up. Yeah, we can't do that. I guess we'll cycle. Okay. Oh, opponent needs to draw like Uro next turn. I guess Uro next turn is just going to put them, the Aetherflux Reservoir in range. Oh no, they can cast a free spell here. Okay, sure. So needed the Tail's End for the Aetherflux Reservoir here. Okay, so not a particularly good game, game one. Made a pretty big mistake, which hurt us pretty bad. But let's move on. What do we want here? I like Fort Distortion, actually. And Extra Cage. I think like we can cut the... What are we cutting? Sensors, I feel like, are awful here. Fatal Pushes aren't great. Soul Shatter's okay. Doesn't work very well with Tamio. I think we want Fort Distortion, Extinction Event as a way to answer Uro. Maybe like we don't need all these Narsets. Got some early removal. Need to make sure we have enough answers to Emry. Go like that. Yeah, this hand looks fine to keep. No turn 1 Four.Vs, but oh well. Opponent's just getting the Mox Amber out there. Kinan. Just like eliminate this. It's a pretty key part of our opponent's game plan. Just gonna spend the turn putting Gigantha into the hand. So we got quite a few answers, but our opponent's got a lot of cards in hand. Just got to work out what our opponent's key threats are and dismantle it that way. Yeah, Emry's definitely one of them. Just don't allow our opponent to mill here. Shark Typhoon is something to do. I think we just allow the Gigantha. Hoping for land here. No land. Just search for Ascanter and hold up Absorb. It's either that or Soul Shatter the Gigantha in the hopes our opponent doesn't play anything too relevant next turn, but I think I prefer holding up the Absorb. Don't want our opponent to resolve a Khan, yeah, I'm happy that our opponent's just attacking here. A Khan or a Tamio. Yeah, I need to stop Paradox Engine as well. So hopefully hitting land here. Just gonna shatter this Gigantha's soul. And yeah, hopefully this is enough. I mean, kind of got to stop Emry, haven't we? Could Extinction Event it. Do we just Extinction Event it? It won't take out our Shark at the same time. We need to hit land really off the top to do that. Feels bad if our opponent mills an Uro. Yep. I guess they're both odd, so works out. So maybe our opponent just goes for the Uro here. Yeah, so I guess this works out okay. Still need to really hit a land off the top though. Probably just going to graveyard that in hopes for a land. Tails End would have been really good to stop this land that our opponent's got. I don't want to have Blast Zone. Opponent didn't put the mana into Blast Zone though. Just 2 mana and tap itself. But we're definitely gonna flip Searchlight Cancer here. Stop this Blast Zone from blowing up our Searchlight Cancer. Yeah, we can graveyard that. Yeah, just gonna pass a turn here, I think. Just cycle, hold up a counterspell, can activate Searchlight Cancer as well. Give our opponent the least amount of information. Since we couldn't play a Teferi, if we hit it, we wouldn't want to play Narset anyway. Opponent's drawing all the Mind Stones. I think we can let Kinnan resolve. I guess it gets to dig quite deep. Was it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Do you just counter it? Yeah. We've got like Searchlight Cancer going. It's difficult there because we don't have a Graph Digger's Cage out, and even the Blast Zone answers a Graph Digger's Cage. The Kinnan is active. But hopefully the Shark's just going to get us there. Yeah, opponent's going to scoop it up, probably knowing that we have the second absorbed there. Ooh, this matchup does feel tough. And I wonder if we want to just cut that for the Dovin's Veto instead. Yeah, we're going to keep this. Our mana's a little bit awkward, but Cage is good early, and Tails End, and hopefully the Extinction Event can catch our opponent. Really like a Shock Land or like a Fetid Pools so that these enter untapped. Okay, pretty happy that our opponents just spent the turns putting Gigantha into their hands and playing some Mana Rocks. Can Tails End this Gigantha if they just tap down for it. Or this Emry. Opponent have another counterspell. I'm electing to counter the Emry just because it's going to mill for the Uro. It looked like our opponent had a counterspell there maybe as well. So yeah, important to note, this would have been a Disdainful Stroke in our board, so... Yeah, unfortunately, Soul Shatter doesn't work. We do get to Rest in Peace next turn.
I am Tamio. It is an honor to meet you.
So this could have been like a Murderous Rider or something.
I know I noted this somewhere.
I'm going to hit the Kinnan. I'm going to get rid of loads of them cards. So probably just going to cycle Shark Typhoon here for 1. Just kind of want to hit our land drops. All of our lands entering tapped. Shuts down the relevant part of this Tamiyo as well, I think.
I guess you do not want to talk.
Yep. Can our opponent proceed to combo here? They're going to go grab like a Ratchet Bomb. Sorcerer Spyglass, so not that relevant at the moment. Our opponent gets to look at our hand.
Seek and find.
So I don't think we want to cycle for no value. Fort Distortion is going to be good. Probably just hitting the Khan here. And we can either cycle Shark Typhoon for 3, or we could like cycle it for 1 maybe, and like eliminate this Kinnan. Which I think is probably better, isn't it? Opponent, just the amount of mana our opponent can make, especially when they're untapping, tapping, if they go get Paradox Engine. They can like float Chromatic Lantern mana now. They're not going to in response. Okay. Probably going to cycle the Shark Typhoon for 1 as well. Just really want to hit Fort Distortion. Since we've had Rest in Peace in play, Fort Distortion is not as good, but still really good. It's going to miss on this Gigantha, but hopefully the rest of our opponent's cards it will take. It's setting up for that Teferi.
Some solutions must be built.
Yeah, let's just make a 1-1. Okay, so we do get to Fort Distortion here. Let's knock Khan down to 1 loyalty.
Please do not do that.
So our opponent doesn't have a graveyard to eat, but I guess... Oh, 2 Paradox Engines and the Disdainful Stroke. Gotta feel good about that. Our opponents can still Tamiyo. Keep digging. How many Khans have we gone through? 2 Paradox Engines, 1 Khan. This will be the second Khan. Yeah, this Rest in Peace is doing work. So let's take out our opponent's second Khan now. And then probably just have to name odd on this.
Thank you for the lesson.
Gigantha's quite a fast clock. This matchup's been very strange. Soul Shatter's not been great against the Tamiyo. Definitely something that's worth considering in future. And we don't actually have a main deck. I don't think we actually have an answer to Spyglass. Teferi is our answer to Spyglass, since if we're in Azorius, or we could build a variation of this where you run Cast Out instead. And Cast Out's pretty good, but Soul Shatter gets it permanently off the board. Gets around Hexproof.
I think you will find my
Opponent's just gonna keep going for Khan, I guess. Yep. Pretty happy with the amount of cards that's being exiled here. I feel like Four.Vs that lot. Oh wait, no, that's not Four.Vs. Almost made a mistake. Tamiyo is still a thing.
No one asked for your input.
So I guess our best draw is Narset or Shark Typhoon. We cut one of the Shark Typhoons. Okay, opponent found their Khan. So unless we top deck something really good here, I think we're in trouble. Needed to find a counter spell for this upcoming Khan. Then go get like Ratchet Bomb.
Do not stop.
Okay. Just gonna go for the Sovereign Ship. Yeah, just top decking a little bit poor here.
We should discuss our differences.
So opponent will get to kill one of our creatures, one of our sharks with the Skyship Sovereign. I guess we can knock Khan back down to 1 loyalty after it ticks up. Really needed to find some counter magic or something in this matchup.
Evil cannot withstand a righteous army.
Yeah. Need to stop drawing lands now.
You are only hurting yourself.
So 11 lands, 15 left in the deck. So 24 cards.
Away
So the odds are we will draw a non-land card. But it needs to be a relevant non-land card. I think Absorbs is too late. Just taking 5, 6, 7, yeah. Yeah, Soul Shatter doesn't work because Tamiyo stops them from sacrificing and can't discard because of Four.Vs. Tamiyo pretty good here. Yeah, this hand looks keepable. So, mirror match, Esper. Probably not Doom Foretold since they haven't got Yuri on. Possibly just Control. We'll see. Guess we could Four.Vs here. Plays around Sensor as well. No, our opponent's not on what we're on. I think Murderous Riders are fine. Buglers. It's just like a 2-for-1. Get cleared out of our board wipes. Probably take the Angel. Opponent could be on Godfarer's Gift. So yeah, the board wipe will be able to clear up some of our opponent's little creatures. I'm not sure what they're on. I haven't seen Bugler be played in a while, like humans. But not really. Okay, opponent's going for the Bugler. Get an Angel. Really not sure what our opponent's up to. If our opponent does nothing, I'm not sure if they have counter magic. Do we just... We can probably just eat the Bugler next turn. There's no rush to get this to Fairy down. We can just Shark Typhoon. Opponent will probably be forced to Murderous Rider. Yeah, opponent is going to Murderous Rider here. We get to do the same thing next turn. Or we can just Wrath of God here. I guess our opponent gets to blink the Bugler, some good value. Looks like our opponent's on some sort of blink deck, power 2 or less. Since we have the backup Wrath, I think we're gonna... guess we'll Four.Vs first. Wow. Let's take our opponent's like value. Let's take Murderous Rider, I guess, and then our Shark Typhoon can eat the rest of our opponent's creatures. Opponent gets to do a repeat here. I like the synergy between these. Opponent's just grabbing all of the Buglers. I love it. So we get to Fairy, untap, have 4 mana available. Doesn't feel that good. Probably just gonna Shark Typhoon here. So just do it for 5. So 2 cards, opponent could have a Murderous Rider. Gonna eat this Bugler, I think. Oh my god. So what's our opponent's plan? Just value, exile... Oh, they're exiling the token. Nice. I guess it makes a lot of sense. So next turn we could Teferi. I guess we like Wrath of God now. Then we can either end step Soul Shatter if our opponent just does one thing, like Angel, or we could Teferi. So if opponent goes for the Charming Prince again, if they find the same combo, you have the answer. Opponent's doing a good job of 2-for-1ing us. Hopefully Teferi's going to get a few upticks. I do like our opponent's list though. All power 2 or less in Esper. I think we're just stopping this, just give ourselves some more activations.
We need to move quickly.
Yeah, absorb's nice again. Just get to stop the next Angel. Gone past 2 of our Wrath so far, so I assume like Extinction Events is just going to be one of our best cards in this matchup. Low mana removal. Yeah, let's just go again.
No time for a break.
Those who cannot perceive, meditate. Prepare.
And might be enough. Yeah, it's gonna be enough. So opponent got some real good 2-for-1 value on us. We're able to outgrind just Teferi. So yeah, Extinction Event's probably going to be our best card here. Tail's End doesn't strike me as particularly good. Like, Eliminate looks really good. Cage is awful. Yeah, they're not casting. They can grab cards. Cut like a Soul Shatter is one of our more expensive removal spells. Could cut 2 and bring in a push. I guess how are we eating Angel then? Probably want some answers to Angel. Narset's our card advantage, but we really just need to hit land drops. Probably going to cycle this Sensor. Guess could put Four.Vs since we don't even have a black source. Feels weird bottoming a Four.Vs with only one of them in hand. So I assume these have come in off the board. Or maybe our opponent just didn't see any of them last game. Need to hit land drops, just probably just going to cycle this Sensor. I guess we'll hold it up, but I think we really need to cycle it. Mimic, yeah. My god. My god. So one of the downsides of running Esper above Azorius, or just the variation that I've got, is we're not running Cast Out, so it's more cycling. We are in a 28 land deck, so we should 26 land deck, so we should be hitting our land drops, especially like with 2 cycles on the draw as well, and on a mulligan, 1 land, 2 land. But yeah, we're not running Cast Outs, so we can't cycle an additional card. But this is this feels a little bit silly. I'd understand if we didn't have like our colours of mana. I guess like it just happens, doesn't it? Like get mana screwed every now and again, flood out every now and again. Sort of variants. Okay, so one of our lands has come up. I don't think we need a Narset to play Narset here. We just need to hold up our Absorb and Soul Shatter. Just Soul Shattering here. Just need to keep our opponent at bay, keep our life total high. This hand is definitely capable of taking over in the late game. Guess we're just going to play Search Ice Cancer out. A way to find land drops. And I guess it's like, it would be ramp, but we've missed so many land drops, it's not really ramp. This hand's pretty Four.Vs proof. Yeah, if it's not a land, it's going. And we're sort of incentivized to absorb something here. So we can flip as Canter. Still think we're going to graveyard this. Just so we can transform. So kind of okay, getting okay now. Opponent can Murderous Rider this, but if they're Murderous Ridering this, it's not going at Arteferi.
Mysteries to uncover. Keep an open mind.
Let's take a Shark Typhoon as like a removal spell. Absorb. Take Absorb. Yeah, letting this go.
My mind needs a rest.
So it's interesting, like, I've seen, like, discussions happening of the pathways and, like, whether they're good mana bases or not. I think they're okay, but, like, when you run things like Murderous Rider, like, where you need double black, you can set these on black, which is great, but you're not running them as blue sources. Obviously, doesn't work with check clans as well. I've seen a lot of people saying they're good and a lot of people saying they're bad. Probably just going to have to shatter Wrath of God or Extinction Event here. Can't afford to keep getting 2 for 1 by them. Yep, cannot stop that. So, gonna be Extinction Event next turn and hope that works. They have the second Dovin's Veto, no. Okay, so opponents managed to have an additional, hold on to the additional Murderous Rider to answer Arteferi. I think just gonna gain life there. Nice, opponent gets to blink it. So we need a board wipe in the top 5 cards. We've gone past 2 already, so we've got 4 left. No. I guess we get to survive. Our opponent has a Murderous Rider though, so what, we can push Charming Prince. You can Shark Typhoon for 1. Our opponent Fatal pushes it, we push the Prince, and then we take 2, 4, 6. Yeah, we're just dead, aren't we? I think we missed too many land drops. Let's try game 3. Got our lands here, can't complain too much. So yeah, gonna set up to cycle this irrigated farmland, I think, since we drew land. Do not want to flood. Opponent could very easily have Endovin's Veto here. I guess we'll just hold up Censor So like represent, absorb. And then next turn we could always Four.Vs plus Narset. And unless our opponent has 2 vetoes, we should be okay. Probably going to cycle here as well. I mean, second Narset looks good as well. If our opponent only has the 1 veto, yeah, they're in a position where they either counter that or let us look at the hand and be forced to take the veto.
88 ways to repeat thoughtfulness before action.
Just going to go for the value here. We've got enough lands, just want to keep drawing cards. Trying to 2-for-1 our opponent wherever possible.
This was overwhelming.
So do we just play Teferi here? Opponent's forced to have an answer for him.
I'm known for my
Could have tucked the apparition, got a 3/3 back. Yeah, opponent's going for the knocked fairy down.
To phase you out of time.
So I guess push here is one of our better draws.
Let's skip to the good part.
Past, present, and future are bound. I have just the trick for this.
Should have just untapped the Glacial Fortress. It's not going to matter, but like just like type plays and that. It's just doing the end step. We're not really worried about his Teferi ultimating. We have a second
That
one.
was uncalled for.
So we still get a 3/3 out of the deal. Opponent's going to get to take our Narset next turn. But we'll get our max value out of it before then. We could thin the deck with the Fable Passage, but I think we're going to hold on to it. Since if we hit a Fatal Push, it just gets better. Let's take an Absorb.
Hold that thought.
So many Skyclave Apparitions. So opponent can Deputy to take away this token. Doesn't kill Teferi. I don't think we absorb that. Opponent's just going for the blink shenanigans. So yeah, going for the token here. But they can't attack, so maybe they should have done this beforehand if they were going to do that. We just get to Wrath of God here and wipe away our opponent's board, hold up, absorb. I like our opponent's list though. It's a nice utility, haven't considered.
Keep up the pace.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, on the play. This hand looks okay. With a Search as Canter, hopefully we can find more lands. So we're going to keep... If our opponent has a turn 1 Thoughtseize, might be a little bit worse for wear, but we'll go. Sultai. Maybe the Searchrise Canter is going to be able to get us there, but Sultai, yeah. This matchup feels hard. Yeah, I mean, like, we counter this. If they don't, they get to look at our hands, and they just take the absorb anyway, and then Nissa next turn is great for them. I think we have to just pass, represent a counter spell. Maybe they don't Nissa. Oh, it feels so rough. I think it's to take a Narset or Soul Shatter. If you've got the Nissa here, you take the Soul Shatter, I think. And then there's just no way of us recovering. We just like tap down for Teferi here. If the opponent has a counter spell, they have a counter spell. Okay, they don't. It feels like with Sultai, they always have it. Whatever you don't want them to have, they got it. Yeah, opponent gets to resolve their Nissa.
I will protect the virtue of this world. Be wary of the ground you walk on.
Do you want me to phase you out of time?
We need lands, but we also need removal spells. I guess what's our plan this turn? To like Wrath of God? Oh, that doesn't feel very good. I will Wrath this turn if we have to. Like, Teferi's dying either way. If we play Narset, like, Narset's dying if we tick down. Could play Narset and not tick down. So Narset, not tick down. Hopefully stop our opponent from drawing something, and then we can cycle the irrigated farmland.
I understand.
Could draw into like a Tail's End or Censor. Censor would be awful, but yeah. Tail's End maybe?
The land fights for us.
We'll cycle now in case we hit a fatal push. No such luck.
Sloppy technique.
I suppose that's how it was meant to happen.
Casualties of war. Okay, they just want to Hydro Crisis just to make an 8/8. Guess that's okay. Like, if our opponent has another Nissa in hand, then we're in trouble. But set up against Uro, Hydroid Crisis. Opponent's got the Eliminate. Yeah, you've got to make your opponent use it if they've got it. Probably just not going to play Teferi out. I mean, as opponent's got 2 cards, it's unlikely they have a counter spell. I guess we do play it. Since we can hold Absorb up this turn.
You know what?
Wow. Able to take one game against Sultai. Or 4-color control. How are we boarding? I'm always like on the fence whether to bring in Fort Distortion or not. I'd like to know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Like, do you think Fort Distortion's a good matchup against 4-color Sultai control? We'll bring it in and we'll see how it goes. I think Grafdigger's cages are okay. Sensors just feel really bad in this matchup. Cut all of these to bring in 2 extinction events instead. And bring in the 2 Dovin Vetoes. I think this is how we've been boarding against Sultai most of the time. When you look at the list, I think it looks okay. Like, we've got our Uro answers, got some hand hate, got some like bombs, Fort Distortion can finish it off. Tons of removal and counter spells. It looks like a good matchup on paper, but with our opponents just so much value, everything they do is just 2-for-1-ing, creating extra creatures. It's tough, but let's run it and see if we can do it. This is probably a hand we're forced to keep. It's awful against a turn 1 Thoughtseize. Are we just Thoughtseizing here? Can't cycle if we Thoughtseize. Kind of happy our opponent's using a negate now. If they want to resolve a Narset this turn, I guess that's okay. And we get to resolve our Narset. Okay, so opponent could have a Nissa next turn. That's probably the argument to just not tick down with an Narset.
Mind and body should move in unison.
I guess it would be awful if our opponent went Nissa, untap land, Overgrown Tomb, hit us, and then use that to eliminate the Narset. But if our opponent goes Nissa and hits into Narset, I guess we can just activate next turn and find exactly what we need. Ooh, Doom Whisperer. Doom Whisperer matches up quite nice against our Soul Shatter.
Meditate and prepare.
Yeah, let's go another Narset, I think. I'm playing the Irrigated Farmland out now. We're just holding it to cycle in case we flood. Our opponent still gets to like bin a load of cards for Uro. Find their Nissas. Here comes Uro. I mean, this is a powerful effect though, especially in a deck that can regain life very easily. At the very least, they're just putting tons of cards in the graveyard for Uro. 2 Shark Typhoons, don't want them. Okay, so 14 life was enough. So opponent gets to kill Narset here.
The land shall conquer you. My mind needs a rest.
Not much we can do, unfortunately. Like, this is just 4-color control. They's got the answers for days. So opponent gets to Uro here. Obviously we can't stop it with the Narset, unfortunately. I guess our opponent doesn't get to Uro unless they have a blue source. Tails End feels rough that we drew that this turn. Just Narset dies. Just trades off 1 for 1. So, like, best case scenarios, we play Narset and get a board wipe for next turn.
I know 88 ways keep an open mind.
Sort of prevents our opponent playing the Uro out as well. Opponent still needs a blue source for Uro. So just Extinction Event on even. Nope. So yeah, 6 a turn. 3 turn clock. So opponent not have a blue source, or not have any basics left, they bin them all. I mean, I don't think it's going to matter. We're pretty dead to this. Yep. So I don't think Fort Distortion is something we want in our opening hand. So opponent's going to Fort Seize it. Guess we'll keep this. On the mulligan, though, yeah, look at our opponent's hand. Are we going to be able to beat this? Like, their Fort Seize takes away, like, I guess, like, their Fort Seize, it gives them so much info on what we're doing, though. I guess our opponent can't turn 1 Fort Seize. This hand is so strong. I don't know. I feel like this is a loss. Just gonna cycle for no value here. Try and hit our land drops. And, missing our land drops is not the way we're gonna win this game. So opponent's missing land drops as well. Do we just take like Narset? Is that their next relevant play? So opponent's missing lands. It's only a matter of time before they draw them. But if we're going to beat Sultai, I think it's going to involve our opponent missing some land drops. Okay, so it wasn't a land they drew. Opponent's firmly holding up double negate. So yeah, can't really Narset while our opponent has double negate up. So opponent gets to do Yishan into negate. And we can't stop the Yishan. Soul Shatter doesn't work on it as well. Just stuck cycling Shark Typhoon this turn. Could cycle Shark Typhoon for 2. I think we gotta try and trade it for this Yishan. Opponent has the negate, don't they? Right.
Past, present, and future with thoughtfulness before action.
Opponent's not holding up negate mana now. So he could like Tails End this and then Shark Typhoon for 2. Tails End this, Shark Typhoon for 2, hit the Narset down. Play our own Narset and just pass. Opponent can get back the Euro though, so. Okay, looks like they didn't have land. So we get to do this for 4 now. Do we just hold it back and trade with the Yishan? Let our opponent have the extra Narset activation. They've got loads of cards in hand at the moment.
Those who cannot perceive desire just the trick for this.
I think it's more important to have absorb. Our opponent's got a negate either way, haven't they? Like the absorb doesn't do too much when our opponent has negates. 4Cs, yeah. Take a look. Probably take Tails End. Taking Soul Shatter. It doesn't do anything on this board though. Yeah, we'll trade. Makes our Extinction Event just a little bit better.
Meditate and prepare.
I mean, we're like putting up a fight. Like, I think this is the best we've got. Our opponent gets to do a ton of surveilling here if they want to set up the next draw. Okay, they're not going to. They must have a Nissa in hand then. Yishan into Nissa. Okay, no Nissa. It puts us dead in 2 turns now, but I think we need to get the Surcharge Cancer down. And I think it's going to be relevant. Since our opponent's got rid of all their negates now, Tails End might be good. We can stop a Nissa. We've got a top deck and answer to this Yishan this turn. Tis where it ends. GG. Yeah, Soul Tie feels rough. 4 color even. Soul Tie 4 color, same sort of thing. Howdy guys, cheers for making it to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. So what we're going to do for this wrap up is I'm going to go over the decks you saw on screen, a little bit of what you didn't see on screen, some things we played and thoughts there, and then some of the changes. So the matchups you saw on screen were the Emry combo list, Jund Sacrifice, Sultai Control or 4 color Control, and just a general mid-range creature matchup. So the mid-range creature matchup I feel like went okay. That was fine. Control can handle that really well, whether you're Jeskai, Azorius or Esper. In terms of the Emry matchup, I feel like Esper didn't really bring anything to the table that Azorius and Jeskai can't bring. And I'm always going to compare. I'm going to compare Esper to Jeskai and Azorius because I feel like they're really similar. Esper and Jeskai, obviously, the 3 color control lists that are most predominant above, sort of on par with Sultai, but we haven't played much Sultai. And Azorius is like the streamlined version. So apart from Four.Vs, Esper didn't really have much. We have Fort Distortions in the board, which is okay as well. Like, you can get a lot of your opponent's graveyard at once. You can strip away their hand after boarding. So it felt okay. And Extinction Events, obviously, against Uro was, yeah, it was okay. Like, it was good. But I feel like Azorius and Jeskai also have tools against them matchups. The other games, Jund Sacrifice. So Jund Sacrifice, we have some efficient removal spells in Azorius with Fatal Push and Soul Shatter. But if you're going into Jeskai or Azorius, you have Cast Out and Baffling End and Seal Away. So it's not really doing too much more. It's fine, but it's not really anything special. And the Four.Vs, while it's great to hit their hand, you are sacrificing your life total at the same time. So I don't feel like Esper has enough against that matchup to warrant playing it above the other two. And then let's come on to the bane of my life, Sultai / 4 color control. You may have heard the commentary during the last game, but I was getting a bit tilted at the deck. I'm just so sick of playing against this list. Like, obviously it's fine, like it's absolutely okay to play it, but I feel like whenever we play control, we always have a really bad time against that matchup. The best control list I feel we've played against 4-color Sultai control was Jeskai control because of the Xenoflares that we have. We can cycle, stall the game, but the problem is just it gets to a point where Sultai just takes over completely. And when you can Xenoflare your opponent twice for the win, like when we played Jeskai, we were consistently beating 4-color control and Sultai control. So Esper, I feel like, just doesn't have what it takes to beat that list. I think, like, if you're going to go down a list, either play Jeskai or play Azorius. Because Azorius, you've got the value in the mana basis to try and outgrind Sultai. Because Sultai have that value in their mana basis, but they've also got things like Uro. And Sultai and / 4 color attacks from so many different angles that it's really hard to keep them in check the whole time. And they have just what tools we have, but just more better. Teferi is not enough to keep us in the game. Four.Vs is good, yeah, don't get me wrong, like we're matching them there because they have the Four.Vs as well, but I don't think it's enough, if I'm being honest, against Sultai. And you saw one Sultai game. We played I think maybe 2, 3 or 4 games all together, so maybe 3 more off screen, and lost them all. It was not close. I got smashed in every single one. That being said, I'm not the best control player in the world. Far from it. Maybe if you put this list in the pros' hands, or if a pro built an Esper list, they could tailor it to beat Sultai, as well as other things in the meta. So like I'm saying, this is a test list. So this is just something that I put together to try cards together. And yeah, so it's by no means saying that Esper can't beat Sultai or that it's bad in any of these matchups. Just my personal thoughts on this. That's all this is. So yeah, I feel Sultai's awful matchup. Jund, it was fine, but it doesn't matter. You could bring another list to the table. The mid-range creature matchups, that's any control list is really good against them. And Emry combo, I feel like you've got other options that's just better. This isn't bringing anything special to the table. So decisions we made. Soul Shatter we played instead of like Murderous Rider, Cast Out, Eliminate, Cast Down is all different removal spells that you could play on this slot. When we played Esper before and we played Grixis, I was really hot on Soul Shatter, and I did like it. Now I feel like there's a lot in the meta that's really working against Soul Shatter. You had Yishan in the Sultai matchup that prevented them from sacrificing permanents, which stops Soul Shatter. And then in the Emry matchup, you saw that they had Tamiyo, the 4-mana Planeswalker, that stopped us not only from Soul Shattering, but also from Fort-Seizing. I don't know. I haven't seen Tamiyo in the Emry matchup before, so I don't know if this is a new thing that's happening or if that was just that variant. But Soul Shatter felt really bad there as well, so not something we want. Maybe we could just go to Cast Out instead, like the Azorius and Jeskai matchup, and just play 4 Cast Out and cut the Soul Shatters and go up to 4 Censors. Because something I did feel in this variant of control as well, we got mana screwed more so than the other lists. And I think that comes down to, in Jeskai you have tons of cycling, and Azorius you have tons of cycling. You can just churn through your deck a lot more consistently than you can in Esper. So Esper, you're more prone to miss your land drops, and the mana is like a little bit inconsistent. Maybe I just haven't built the mana correctly, but yeah, it feels that way. So overall, I spoke really quickly there and we went through it real quick, but overall, I think if I was going to rank Esper among Jeskai and Azorius, in my opinion, and the variant we tried today is by far the worst of the control lists. Maybe I got unlucky today, and I've played this over the course of like 6-7 hours, maybe been playing this deck, and you've seen like a few games of that, like some of the highlights and best bits. I also couldn't find a Goblins matchup. I could not find one, but if I was to hazard a guess, I would say it's just as good as Esper, just as good as Jeskai or Azorius. I'd have to say this is the worst of the free lists, in my opinion, and this variant. Things to take forward, though, I do feel Tail's End may be an improvement above Disdainful Stroke. It's something that we tried. Got a suggestion on the channel to give Tail's End a go above Disdainful Stroke. I mentioned this at the beginning because it hits on some things that... It hits on basically everything that Disdainful Stroke hits on, but it also hits on things like Emry at the same time, and the Hydroid Krasis trigger in Sultai, which is something we really do want to hit on. And for what it's worth, it hits like Aetherworks Marble trigger, as well as like Ugin triggers at the same time as well. So Tail's End, I feel like if I was going into Jeskai or Azorius, I'd probably play Tail's End above Disdainful Stroke at the moment and give that more of a shot, because I feel like there is something there that's worth considering. But Esper, I don't feel it's where it's at. If you guys have a suggestion for an Esper list that you think is vastly different to this, or just is better, or maybe some key mistakes you saw me make, please do throw them in the comments down below. I'd love to see a deck list that is more competent than this, and maybe if you've got time as well and you can be asked, provide some sort of rationale as to why your list trumps this list. Obviously, like I said, we could move the Soul Shatters to cast outs, but then we're just turning the list more towards Azorius, and you ask yourself in the end, like, what, are we just playing the black for Fort Seizes and pushes? Maybe that's all you need, and maybe you play some number of extinction events as well, maybe to take a little bit of the strain off the mana basis, and then you're only playing single black and single white, and you can tilt your mana basis more towards blue. Always a suggestion. I don't know, it's stuff to consider going forward. But like I said, cheers guys for sticking around and being part of this experiment as well. We're going to have Jeskai coming up soon and just playing Azorius. I'm really enjoying Jeskai Control. I've been playing a little bit of it off the channel at the moment that you guys haven't seen. And I love playing the Jeskai variant of cycling, where you just cycle through your list and Xena Flare your opponent, and sort of falling in love with that list a little bit. And Azorius Control is like reminiscent of that. Probably Azorius is better, but we're going to still try this out on the channel and see how it goes. But yeah, guys, I'm just rambling. Cheers for sticking around to the end of the video. If you can be asked, drop it a like and subscribe. If not, like, honestly, don't worry about it. Just go about, enjoy your day, and do whatever you feel like doing. But overall, stay safe.